This message is brought to you by Dubby Energy. Are you a gamer, streamer, podcaster, content creator, just a gym nut, looking for a boost of energy without the jitters or crash? Then Dubby Energy is the way to go. No calories, no sugar, no fillers, no artificial colors. Just an energy drink packed with multiple vitamins and neurofactor. Go to www.dubby.gg to order your tub of Dubby Energy now and use promo code ChaoticCulture1 to get 10% off your order. Now with that, let's get to the show.
You are now tuned in to the Chaotic Culture Podcast.
It's the KKP on your mother flipping airways. Hear the name ringing through the halls and the stairways. You were listening to a pod that can segue all the latest topics guaranteed to fill your headspace. It's a safe place to voice your opinion. Say what you feel just like you're a kid again. Kid to pro and friends black as obsidian. Chaotic culture, that's the world we living in. So what's the word?
Yo, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Chaotic Culture Podcast, the pod where chaos rules and black culture is supreme. This podcast is also brought to you by Dubby Energy. Please be sure that you go to wbyenergy.gg and use promo code ChaoticCulture1 to get 10% off on your favorite Dubby Energy flavor. If you have not listened to the Chaotic Culture Podcast before, this podcast will deep dive into modern black culture and how Gen Z and millennials can navigate the crazy parts from finances, music, black home ownership, sports, HBCUs, anime, wrestling. If it encompasses black culture, we are going to cover it. Live from the 7-5, I'm the host and the creator of the Chaotic Culture Podcast. This is your boy, Ked the Pro, a.k.a. the Calculating Millennial, a.k.a. the Encore presentation. Now, can I get an encore? Do you want more? The 843 is me, but VA is where I stay. Always chaotic, never toxic most days. Back again, once again, with your favorite black culture highlights and black culture shenanigans. With me, of course, is the second first lady of the pod, Miss Sappy. If you would like to introduce yourself, ma'am.
Hello, hello. Can y'all hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. What's up,
Loud and
y'all?
clear.
It's your girl Sappy. No AKAs or hey, hey, hey. And we got, if you know what time it is, we got a bomb episode for y'all. So just stay tuned.
Indeed, indeed. And, of course, the co-pilot of the Chaotic Culture Podcast, Law. Please go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Law, aka Lawrence, aka Smurda. We'll be back at it again. Let's get to this topic of the day.
Indeed, indeed. First thing is first, of course, it's got to do a mental health check real quick. I will go first. I will say that this week has not been the best, if I'm just being brutally honest. Yeah, it's more so still dealing with grief, and it just kind of came in waves this week. Also been having some reoccurring dreams. Some of them like formed in nightmares, and some of them formed as like confusing messages. I usually forget them afterwards, but there's usually it's centralized like around one thing. I would rather not talk about it on the pod, but still, it has been very rough and very rough on the work week as well. So it's just a lot. As of the time that we're recording this, we're actually recording this on Friday, and Saturday is when we'll actually drop this episode. But Thursday, I just kind of had a breakdown because I had a moment where I thought about all four of my grandparents, and I just kind of broke down. So it happens, it's part of living and it's part of the grieving process. And I know that things are not going to be solved, or things are not going to not going to heal like right away or immediately or things like that. Things are going to take time. It's just, it's still relatively fresh in losing your, a grandparent around December. So still navigating that. But other than that, I'm still blessed. I'm still highly favored. I'm still here. God is good all the time, and I'm thankful. So, how's everybody else been doing? Sappy, if you want to talk a little bit.
I've been doing pretty good until today.
Oh, oh man.
Everything has been good. And then my car wants to hit the yeah, okay, yeah, yeah.
What's up, Zuko?
So I am trying to get myself into a better place
Mm-hmm.
because now I got to think about financially how much I'm gonna have to shell out for that. But you know what? We're not going to let that define us. We're going to have a great weekend. Okay. And we're going to be
Indeed.
good. Right, Zuka?
He knows what's up. Shout out to Zuko over here on stream. If you're watching, of course, the Patreon, if you're a Patreon subscriber, you will get to see Zuko
This is a so
all up
black
in
household.
Sappy's face.
Don't kiss. I
Anyway,
don't know what that is.
uh Law man, how you been, bro?
Um, First off, I want to say Happy Black History Month.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, just
Um,
keep it black all the time. See, even Zuko did it.
Blackity
Keep it
Black.
black.
um, Secondly, how have I been? I think my phrase of the month is bend but don't break.
hmm
Um, yeah, January was hard as fuck. If I can be quite frank, sorry for the f bomb, but yeah, January into December, it has not been fun. It's been a rough one, and I've been doing my damnedest to stay in a positive mindset. But I'm pushing on. If I sound winded, it's because I'm walking around at work. Um, so yeah, it's just been a lot of working, trying not to stress, trying not to cry. Heavy on the try not to cry.
Yeah, man.
Um, for those listening, it is okay to cry. That'd be
Yeah,
some of the
man.
best sleep.
Listen,
but
okay, them wailing moments, and then you just be like, let me just go ahead and put my head on the pillow.
hey, you lay it down, you get some good sleep, and then you feel sort of kind of refreshed. Yeah, go ahead, get that cry on. Do it in the shower. Get you some eucalyptus, aromatherapy.
Hey, you on to something right there, brother.
Be in tune with your feelings and your emotions so that you can thoroughly guide yourself throughout your emotional journey. Because bottling it all in ends up, making things worse. But mentally, I have been, again, like I said, trying to keep myself in a good headspace because life has been life.
I hear you, bro.
Listen,
I
I'm
hear you,
gonna tell
brother.
you what I do is take a puzzle, a very, very hard puzzle, like one of them like 1,000 piece puzzles, and do that
Mm-hmm.
shit. You're gonna be so concentrated on how hard this puzzle is, your pain gonna go away.
No
Wow.
Listen,
bull.
I got y'all think I'm playing. I'm going on with this one right now. Okay. Shout out to the Thomas Kincaid brand because I love these and it's the best. The best.
I was thinking
Brand
about
new
getting
though.
one of
Yeah.
those. In what's the word I'm looking for? Super duper hard Lego puzzles or Lego
I want to do
kits.
those, but they're so expensive. They're like
hmm
three
Yeah,
hundred dollars. They have like a jazz club one, and I try to get that. That thing was like $250. I said I could spend that money in other places.
exactly. But I mean, they have a Captain America one, the shield, and you can
Hmm.
hang it up on the wall. And I was like, I'm gonna do all the
Ooh.
Marvel ones. And then I looked at the price point. And I was just like, I'm gonna put that off for later.
Exactly. That's that old money for Legos.
Yeah, very much so. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't know if I got the patience to do a puzzle. However, for my anime heads, y'all know I'm a Gundam head, so I actually received the Gunpla not this past Christmas, but like the Christmas before, and I've honestly been like, you know what? I think I'm gonna just start doing the Gundam kits again and just start building Gunplas because that will take my mind off things. Because a 1,000 piece puzzle is, I don't know. You got to have patience from one of them too, because I'm like, I'd rather I guess
Exactly. And it's
build
gonna last
something, but
about like 2 weeks
mm-hmm.
and you good.
Yeah, y'all better than me on the puzzles, but I'm definitely gonna get back into my Gunplas. It's definitely going to put my attention on making that Gundam instead of everything else because good lord, man, it's as you said, it'll take your mind off the bullshit if nothing else. So that's definitely something I'm gonna get into. I am also gonna probably purchase like a couple more as well, just so I can keep my mind away from other things. Cause listen, As I was talking to Law before, I done got my W-2s, and I know it's tax season, and some people might be looking forward to the tax return. I'm actually not, because with the way that this tax law is
Gotta
set
shell
up,
out
for
that
those who don't know,
cash.
yeah, but just the way that this tax law is set up, I'm like, how many more deductions are going to come out? How much am I going to lose? And I don't know. I've made more than I've ever made with my current job, but it's like I didn't feel it this year at all. So everything going up and shit. But that's just my personal experience. I'm still gonna do it though. But yeah, that's yeah. Not looking forward to that, but I'm gonna get it done anyway because I need the money. Just
Okay.
saying.
Hello.
Even if it's a
Um,
lot, it's fine.
I'm
Yep.
trying to tell you, they're sitting here saying that Taylor Swift is pushing the Biden agenda.
Bro, we're not even talking about Taylor Swift because they saying that she's the pioneer for swag surfing. Are you serious?
Hey, excuse the
What?
fuck
We're
out of
gonna
me.
get
Excuse
into
my
that.
language, Lord. But what in the
We're gonna get
hell?
into we're gonna get
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Hmm.
So, as we've all said before, again, happy Black History Month, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all already know what it is. We about everything black. We are all black, blackity black, black, black. And we all, of course, support black. So, this episode, I will do the rundown to talk about all the black businesses and content creators and stuff that support this podcast and who have supported us, and who we have supported, of course. So, y'all already know I'm coming back with that. But this is definitely a time for us to talk about the other black people that we're going to have on this podcast as well, because this month the goal is to interview 2 or 3 people who have businesses out there, so that way you can learn more about what they do, and that way might inspire you or somebody else to go out and do your own thing. You know what I'm saying? So please stay tuned for that. Our interview series is going to be coming back, and we definitely want to be sure that we highlight these young black professionals and young black entrepreneurs out there. So stay tuned. We got something special for you. In the meantime, we definitely have to start on another somber note, because one of one of the most prolific actors out there, Mr. Carl Weathers, has unfortunately passed away as of today. And if you're not familiar with Carl Weathers, the best thing that I could tell you is Rocky, that Apollo Creed. That's the easiest role to identify him as. But I mean, we could talk about we could talk about what's some of the stuff he's done. We could talk about Star Wars. We can talk about Predator. We can talk about some of the other work he's done, because it's really just nameless how many stuff that he was a part of. And we could talk about the fact that he was a former Oakland Raider the first time that they were in Oakland. It's really sad to see him go, and he was only 76. And I kind of, when I heard that this today, I was like, oh man, because he was actually supposed to come to GalaxyCon in Richmond this year. And I was really looking forward to seeing him, because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go, because I know a lot of Star Wars actors are gonna be there. And to see that he's not, and to see that he left such a huge body of work film wise, is just really sad to see. It really is. So rest in peace to Carl Weathers. Really, my respects and prayers go out to his family and friends. Um, Especially Giancarlo Esposito. I know he's really, really upset. I saw a tweet earlier of, not of his, but someone, I guess, had tweeted a quote of his, and he just said he's completely heartbroken. So definitely rest in peace to Carl Weathers. Anybody got any comments before we on the situation before we move on?
I just wish his family
Um,
easy healing. Just say, I don't want to say condolences because nobody really wants to hear my condolences, but I hope the family finds the much needed peace that they need in this trying time.
Indeed. Well, with that in mind, I want to talk about something that's actually has been trending for like the last week. And it's been a minute since we talked about happenings within the culture. And so it's about time that we actually talked about it, because good Lord, did a lot happen within our culture, but especially this one thing. Now, I really kind of wanted to talk about Standom because this actually kind of ties into the whole Taylor Swift thing too. So when it comes to like Standom, it's okay to have your favorite artists. It's okay to support them. It's okay to go and see concerts, buy merch. It's okay to, get autographs of them, things like that. But when you start to take a thing a little bit too far to the point where you're willing to break the law just because somebody does not like your favorite, we got a problem. I will be the first to admit I love Kendrick Lamar, but I'll be damned if I'm gonna go and dox somebody just because somebody else don't like him. I might be surprised and I might disagree and be like, "Hey, nah, I might say that their opinion is cap, but ain't no way I'm gonna sit here and be like, how dare you talk about Kendrick? You know what? I'm gonna dox your address and I'm gonna have somebody come up to your crib and pretty much vandalize it, and I may send you on a one-way trip to God's mailbox because of that shit. I'm not doing that. And that's kind of the same thing, the same message that I kind of want to apply here because I haven't been doxxed by anybody yet, and I hope that nobody in this podcast has either. But I've seen people who were getting doxxed by the Garbs because I refuse to call them by that actual name, and they literally, if you're doxing somebody and putting up their address and things like that and trying to ruin people's lives just because they talked about your favorite or they put your favorite on Front Street and made people realize that maybe your favorite is not a very good person, we have issues. There's a reason why Eminem's Stan was such a big hit back then because, dude, y'all are obsessed. Some of y'all really base your whole lives around this particular artist. And again, y'all know if y'all have been listening to this podcast, I refuse to call her by her artist name. At this point, I'm just gonna call her by her middle name, Tanya, because I don't even want to say Onika because I'm just so disgusted
The
with
fact
her
that
action.
you know her middle name. I never knew that. Her name is
Yes,
Tanya.
Onika Tanya Mirage Petty.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, Tanya.
Okay,
So
TT.
I'm saying, but but I just wanted to go off on that tangent a little bit because it's just like it's really crazy. If you've been on social media and you've seen just the absolute vitriol that comes from the Garbs in general, they are one of the worst fan bases out there. We can talk about the Beehive, we can talk about the Swifties, which we'll get to in a minute. We could talk about the Navy for Rihanna. We could talk about the Little Monsters for Lady Gaga. We could talk about them. I don't know what Ariana Grande's fans are called. I don't know. I just don't. But we could talk about all of them and how problematic some of them can be. But the Garbs are the absolute worst fan base that I have seen on social media since this thing has been a thing.
Swifties
And
is crazy. I just want to say
oh
that.
no, it really is crazy. I did not know that they were called that until like sometime last year, and I was like, oh, that's what they're called. Okay. Now, again, I'll get to Taylor Swift in a minute, but I just wanted to speak specifically on the ongoing beef between Megan Thee Stallion and Onika, if you want to even call it a beef.
Tanya.
Tanya, yes.
I think for the episode, we just need to call her TT.
Okay. Well, yeah, we can stick with that. We'll stick with TT. So, listen, I know that a lot of y'all have heard Hiss. Y'all have had to at this point. And if you looked at the latest Spotify charts, Hiss was actually the biggest debut of a female rap star on the platform with 10.28 million streams. Probably more. But that's crazy, and congratulations to Megan. Like, she really did her damn thing. And I know that when Cobra Drop Cobra was cool, but this, I was like, oh shit. She said she's not holding back. She got bars for everybody. What's good? And I
Everybody catching
thoroughly
straight.
enjoyed it. Yeah, I was like, yo, it really could be applied to anybody. But if you really think about it, her main targets were Party, Drake, of course, excuse me, I almost said his rap name, Daystar Peterson. Uh, who else did she take aim at? I believe Iggy. and of course TT. Now, she only had maybe one or two lines for TT. And granted, she didn't say anybody's
Honestly,
name.
it was one line. It was
It
one
really
line,
was. But I was talking about
or
the
it was a setup and a shot. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Set up into the punch.
There we go.
yeah. I had said maybe two lines because of the ass shot line. So I
But
was
that
like,
could be
okay, well,
anybody. To be quite
it
honest,
it it could, but we know specifically who's we ain't gonna go there, but still still.
honestly, I say this because we don't know who she got beef with. Backdoor. You know what I'm saying? We know the
Mhm.
major beefs, but we don't know. It might be to her best friend. She might get ass shots, and we don't know. Or her ex best friend.
Oh yeah, she also had shots for Kelsey too,
Hmm.
and rightfully deserved. But I just have to say that we all know um about the line that caused an entire meltdown from TT, and I mean an entire meltdown, and
48
it's just
hours.
for
48 hours.
48 hours. I don't know how many Instagram lives she done went live on Station Head like twice. It was nuts. I'm just sitting here like, and then the song that she dropped included stuff that she had already said in those lives. And I'm just sitting here like, what? What is going on
The
here? Now,
punchlines didn't hit the same. Like, girl, we
they
heard this
really didn't.
already.
Yeah, it's like, yo, I've heard this already. You said this. And there was maybe one or two clever lines within Bigfoot. Maybe. But it's just crazy that that one bar caused that entire meltdown. These hoes need not to worry about Megan. These hoes need to worry about Megan's Law. It really just like, whoa. If you never
What
knew
did
what
Megan
Megan's
say?
Law was, you said
A
what?
hit dog. What did
A
Megan
hit dog
say? A
will,
hit dog will
will
holler.
holler.
Okay? Because not a
And boy,
name was
did
dropped.
TT howl at the moon. she she went full
She was
she
a
went full
screaming.
fledged werewolf on that bitch.
Baby
Excuse
girl
my
was
language.
hoarse at the end of that.
Right.
Lost her voice and her
Mm-hmm.
rap skills.
Oh boy. I'm of the opinion that TT cannot make good diss songs and has not made a good diss song ever. You can make the argument about Stupid Ho, but I don't like Stupid Ho, but it had the girls bopping their heads, I guess. You could
Mm.
maybe say something about No Frauds, but here's the thing: No Frauds was a good song,
No Frauds
but
was all right.
it was a terrible diss track, especially because it was a response to Sheether, and Sheether damn near obliterated her. It's
Yeah,
like,
Remy
dang,
was.
girl, you got Remy was going blow for blow, and here you go, like you're not even jabbing her. You kind of slapping her on the wrist and shit. Like, that's kind of what No Frauds was to me. Like you got your arm out and you just like you play. That's what that is. You ain't even take a real like jab for. You could have came with a haymaker, but a lot of the guards will say, "Well, look what Remy's doing now." Man, we don't give a fuck about what Remy doing right now. Who
Honestly.
cares
I
about
just want to take a moment
their
to vent.
relevancy? This is beef. This is about who got the best diss track. Don't know. Listen, because if it was like that, you could say that Jay-Z might have won the beef if you're talking about his relevancy versus Nas, as far as money is concerned, as far as positioning is concerned. But nobody cares about that. When we talk about takeover and the response, Ether. And we all know that Ether is now considered the most legendary diss track of all time. Sans maybe Hit 'Em Up or No Vaseline.
I'm
But
about to say, hit him up. What?
Yeah.
yeah.
Honestly,
That came out the
no Vaseline
gate.
don't hit as much as that hit 'em up hit. Still currently hits today. Like I'll be
Mm-hmm.
listening to No Vaseline. I'm like, for the time, yeah, that part was fire. But hit 'em up, like, sir, sickle cell? Are you serious?
Yeah, he
Like,
really
I got a
he did
question.
not
I
care.
do have a
What's up?
question. When it comes to this tracks, everyone say everything is out in the open. You can't get mad. But does parents cross the line? Deceased parents, does that cross the line?
I don't speak. I personally would not speak ill of the dead, but I know that when with beef, there is a line that I
Is
don't.
there though? Thinking
It
of the
kind of
diss
gets
tracks you've heard in the
really
past.
that. I mean, it's a good
Mm,
point because if we look at the story of Adidon, Pusha T went straight for 40 and about his sickness, and I'm like, granted, 40 is still alive, but he went low. He was like, okay. But the problem was that Drake mentioned his wife, and sometimes it's like, well, when you mention family members, whether they be alive or dead, it's like, okay, now you just kind of leave yourself open to whatever happens at this point. So the issue with that is that technically Megan didn't say anything about Nikki's, and I said her name. She didn't say anything about TT's
TT's.
family per se, but Megan's Law definitely was a hit towards that. Like, hey, you got a brother who is a pedophile
Mm-hmm.
and a husband who is a sexual offender. So that really kind of tells you the kind of men that you hang around and that that you associate
Pacify
with.
and
Right.
pacify.
Exactly. Because if you know about the history of TT's brother, when he was on trial, she was calling his stepdaughter a liar and things like that, and trying to say that she was lying about the whole situation and things like that. They literally found semen in her underwear and in her from this dude. So it's like, Nikki, I'm sorry, I'm mad. I have to say it. Why you are an enabler at that point? It's
You
like
are the problem.
you are the problem, but you know what? People brush it off, but because you know what, her brother is serving time, 25 to life.
That's
But
wow.
yeah, it's literally in fucking insane. And then with TT and her husband, Mr. Kenneth Petty, yeah, he was young, maybe, but it's the fact that he still did it, and he still, because of Megan's Law, still has to register every time he moves. And the problem with that is that y'all have tried to get this I don't want to call it rescinded because I'm ranting at this point, but they've tried to get the sentencing, of course, appealed and tried to get everything changed around because they're trying to, I guess, coerce and expose his victim or his survivor as someone who wasn't telling the truth and things like that. And she got into it and started doing all of this bullshit. And you know what? They haven't found any means to grant the appeal because there's evidence that he still assaulted her. So, guess what? Mr. Petty still has to register as a sex offender every time he moves. And now he's on probation because when y'all moved to Cali, he didn't register. So now he back on probation and can't do. He really not supposed to be like within 500 feet of a school.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one question that said that, why could he be around his kid? And I'm like, well, it is his kid. That they can, he can do that, but he can't be around really, and he's not really supposed to be around anybody else's. But still, it's just so hilarious because that one bar really set Nikki off on a tangent, and she started talking about Meg's, deceased mother and telling her to conjure up her mother and whatnot. And I'm just sitting here like, what? I don't think anything Megan said warranted that kind of response. That's to answer your questions, Sappy. When it comes to beef, yeah, it may be no holds bar, but then it's like some lines don't warrant the response that they get. And I don't think Megan's Law really warranted that response because Megan's mother unfortunately passed, and that was beyond Megan's control. Whereas TT actively chose to marry a sex offender. That you literally chose to do that and procreate with him. That was your choice.
That's the
You
wild part
had the
about it.
decision
Like
to
you let the
change that.
world know that you with this man.
Right. You made that decision actively. Meg has no power or no control over how and when God decides to call his people home. She has no power over that whatsoever. You had the decision to do what you did, and you got to
And you
live with that
still
for the rest
chose
of
to
your
do
life,
it.
right? And you still chose to do it, and you got to live with that for the rest of your life, regardless, because you got a kid now with him. And now, granted, I'm keeping the kid out of this because the kid did not ask to be here, but still, you actively chose to defend your husband and your brother when you know good and damn well they guilty as shit. So
I find it funny though. So like with the whole beef thing, nobody came at 50 when he was talking about Floyd Mayweather and his reading skills.
There is supporting evidence that shows
yeah,
that what 50 Cent was saying wasn't too far off. So let's
it,
just leave that one alone.
So like I feel like when it comes to beef, beef is beef. Like you can take it as far as you want to take it, but you got to also stand on your
That
10.
evidence is a little mountain.
mhm. You gotta live with them choices. And for me, I'm just like, well, things happen because, as we said, like we hit him up. Tupac really just wanted to like get at Biggie and at Diddy and all the bad boy and all of the East Coast as much as he possibly could. If you read an article on it, they said that he came in here, he was just so angry when he recorded that shit. Like this man, it was like he wanted to burn down the whole studio at that point. And the producer was like, I'm glad to be a part of it, but I never want to experience something like that ever again. And rightfully so, because if you hear his tirade at the end, boy, Pac went in. And
What's
I
that
have to say,
video where that girl is pretending to be the background singer and she keep looking like,
like, right, like, what?
did he just talk about his mother?
Right, exactly. She over here jamming. He say something. She like, what the?
Get
Like,
money. Bro, that is the funniest diss track ever.
it really
But
is.
continue. I'm sorry. I just that vision just popped into my head.
Yeah. But again, as you say, beef is beef, So when it comes to that, when you're beefing with somebody and you throw diss tracks on somebody, you have to stand on business and you leave everything on the table and you leave yourself open to people, attacking your family and whatnot. Uh, that kind of reminds me of a diss clip that I heard from, of all fucking people, Benzino, who tried to go at
For
Eminem
Eminem.
again. Yeah, and I'm just sitting here like,
Yes, sir.
Benzino, why are you still attacking this dude? Y'all are
Why are
both
you still
over 50
rapping?
at this point. What exactly? And then here's the problem. Benzino tried this once and got slaughtered. So it's like, bro, why? What purpose does that serve? In my opinion, it's like if you are beefing with somebody and they absolutely cook you, you gotta just chill out.
I think we
Because
should do a beef roundtable.
I'm definitely not against it
Rate diss
at all.
tracks. That would be
Yeah.
fire.
Yes.
Like we just like we go from, I'll say, because you don't want to have too
How many
many years,
times did
but
he talk
like
about someone's mother?
Yeah.
we go from like 95 to shoot, I guess 2020.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Now
saying? We
we gotta
just
have Bigfoot up in that joint because I got a lot to say. Oh, I meant to show y'all. Look at the blanket I made.
hey poo poo.
Hey. But yeah, it's
It's wonderful
it's just
time.
really
All I'm
it's
gonna
really
say
wild.
is, here's my little rant on that, Nikki. Now, girl, or TT, I'm sorry. Now, honey, you know your bars got to come a little bit harder, especially since you were talking all that trash for so long. If you got something to prove, you're gonna have to prove that a little bit harder. Okay. And the crazy part about it is you talking about the new track that she dropped, all that talking that you was doing, just did promo for free. Like,
Hmm.
you just made Shorty's record sales go up so they could be like, oh, let me see what she's talking about that got Nicki acting all like this. And you just got, girl, free promo, and now she doing good, and now you not.
Yep.
Like, we gotta think smarter.
And
You too grown for this.
You just put a couple mil in her pocket.
very
Man,
true.
the streams is up, and now sis own her masters. She making more
Hmm.
money, and based off of the drama that I'm hearing on the Twitters, it seems like you need money, Nikki. So I think you might want to, you know what I'm saying? But that's just my tidbit on that.
Hey, nah, but you speaking facts. It's like, yeah, Nikki, TT, you gotta chill because as far as I know, you do not own your masters. And yes, Meg signed a terrible deal at first, but now she's an independent artist with a Warner Brothers distribution, and they were able to get her music and give it back to her.
Hmm.
So, I mean, yeah. And the
So the
thing is
pockets is
that
getting fatter.
exactly you got at least 4 albums. I don't know what. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and look so that way I'm not looked out to be a liar. Pink Friday 2. What label was that released under? Was it still Young Money or was it released
I think that was still
independently?
Young Money. Pink Friday too.
Yeah, I'm looking at Pink Friday 2. Let me go down. Okay, no, it's under Republic Records, a division of UNG
Oh,
Recordings.
okay.
So it's under a different label. But the first four, Pink Friday, Roman Reloaded, Pink Print, and Queen, are all under Young Money, which y'all know at the time was all under Cash Money, which was all under Universal Music Group.
So that means they don't
And
have cash money.
exactly. What did Pusha T say about multiple hands in the song? The M's get excuse me. Let me say the correct lyric. The M's counting different when baby divides the pie. And then not to mention somebody else is touching the money well. If we can go back to Exodus 23 and 1, he was like, hey, look, you signed by a dude that's under one label that's under another label, so and another dude. So four of your albums, you're not really making any real money. But yeah, apparently, according to the Twitter streets, you especially because with that Ken Barbie line and Ken Barbie the blogger was just like, yeah, your tour now is basically you're touring for free because you spent all this money and basically almost went bankrupt from I don't know if it was from the last tour or whatever, but pretty much this tour is collateral. You trying to get your funds back up because you owe Uncle Sam money. You got no room to talk, madam.
Oh, and it's
So,
tax season, y'all. So make sure y'all do y'all taxes because the IRS is not playing.
oh, they are not. They are not. So all I'm saying is that TT better get her funds right because the IRS will be coming like, hey, we're here to repossess that plaque you got up there hanging up on your wall. Oh, that baby's crib, we'll take that too. Ooh,
Jesus.
yeah, that Barbie chain looks real nice. Yeah, yeah, come off that.
Lord have mercy.
I'm just saying.
Hey, and that would be real petty for the petty.
Shit, you ain't lying. But
Petty for the
the
petties.
we talked about this whole situation between Meg and TT, and if you really want to know how it started, it really goes back to WAP. But Meg had made it clear that she wanted to make music with everybody, and so she didn't think that they had a problem after WAP dropped, but that wasn't the case. So they clearly, after that song, hit the charts and actually became a bigger hit than Hot Girl Summer, it was clear that they were not going to see eye to eye anymore. But either way, the
That's
music is
just
a
stupid to me.
business. Yeah, it's a business,
Exactly.
yo. Like people are
How
gonna
you
make
mad that
business
somebody gets
decisions.
a collab that makes them money?
Hey,
It's a
that's the
business.
point. That's the
If
point.
That's
It's
I
the
like,
definition of
my
pocket watching.
granted, I understand it. Granted, I understand that she made a song with her supposed enemy, but at the end of the day, you act like you and Meg was best friends from since y'all was little, and then all of a sudden, here comes this girl, and she decides to make a song with your enemy. It was never like that.
It'd
there's
be more like
no
that.
like loyalty to anybody. It's not like Meg was your best friend for so long and she has a certain loyalty to you. It is, I'm an artist. Hey, someone decides to give me an opportunity to make a song with you. It's not, now that you made a song with me, you can't make a song with nobody else. First of all, what type of relationship is that in the industry? Because that just does not fly. If you makes a song with somebody that I don't like, I'm gonna be like, cool. Hey, I don't like that person, but I see that your song is leveling them up. Hey, yo, congratulations. Do what it do. Be cordial with you. Call it a day. See you at the Grammys. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Any mature person would do that.
It sounds
But
like Mean
alas,
Girls, honestly.
it's giving very much Mean Girls.
Yep.
Regina George burn book. That's what it's giving.
You
Like
know
at
they're
this
making that a
point. But
musical.
it's been a musical. It's already out.
Uh,
It's a
have you
Broadway
seen it?
musical and they just made it a movie. I haven't seen the movie. I have
Oh,
seen a bootleg version of the Broadway musical. I can't even taking trips to New York, so
Hey, hey. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, as we said, music is a business, and again, people are going to do what's best for them in their pockets and their notoriety, and to get famous, yo. So it, that's just my opinion on that. I think that TT really should not have had this whole, I guess, breakdown because of one line. At the same time, as we said, a hit dog will holler. And the start of the disagreement between them was stupid to begin with. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. I think Nick TT has an issue with being challenged. And I don't think it's sat right with her since this whole Cardi shit. And the thing is that TT has been on the top so long, at least within the 2010s, when it comes to female hip hop, that it's like now that there's competition out there, it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe that should be a cue for you to step your game up.
I was gonna ask, do you find this as like a fight for relevancy?
I mean, it really shouldn't be because, again, she's been at the top for so long. She doesn't have to fight to be relevant. She's got the fan base to support her to be where she needs to be. The problem is that she's not alone anymore.
Facts.
It's not just TT. It's not just the Garbs. It's not just Pink Friday tours or anything Barbie related. You literally got heavy hitters who are still trying to, be on the come up. You've got women who are there now, or at least have the notoriety, but are slowly building their fan bases up. And then there's Megan, who came in
I just
swinging.
I feel like as a performer, you shouldn't be mad to have to share your spotlight, especially if you're secure in your spotlight. Like if you know
Exactly.
I'm that chick and I got it, then you are that chick and you got it. You ain't got to worry that another chick is coming. I'm like, hey yo, girl, we doing this thing and keep it moving because you already have a fan base. You know you have supporters. So at the end of the day, people are going to support you regardless. They may also support somebody else, but the good thing about music is you don't have to listen to one song for the rest of your life. You are going to
Mm-hmm.
listen to multiple music. You're going to listen to multiple genres. You're going to listen to multiple artists, and that's still okay. You're still supporting everybody that you like, and they are still getting support that they think that they need. So I feel like she's very insecure in the fact that she is no longer the only person, and that mindset
Mm-hmm.
is kind of weird because that's not life. And this
Right.
fake accent that she be doing all the time be killing me. Like I don't understand. Like, girl, please.
Girl,
It's
I
giving
don't know.
multiple personalities.
It's
Y-
giving I am insane.
Yeah, it's giving Coke.
You took
It's
words out my
giving
Get
mouth.
get off the drugs, because apparently the streets been talking about some drug use, but I ain't gonna go there because I can neither
and who
deny
on
nor
her team
confirm
is
that.
enabling that if it is true? I don't like
I
rumors, but who on her team is doing it if that's true?
you got me.
Because I know she ain't walking the streets trying to cop from somebody. So
Well, listen, if you crazy enough to marry a sex offender, I'm pretty sure you crazy enough to do just about anything in life. So I would
Well,
not be
you are
surprised if we
correct.
found out she was doing, a little bit of that white girl. But
That bogo sugar.
yeah, it's just nuts. But you know what I want to see? I do want to see if uh any of the other females in hip hop or other women in hip hop are going to take issue with TT, or if TT takes issue with them, like on the forefront, the way that TT has done this with Megan now.
Well, I was gonna
Because
say Lotto definitely posted and was just like, "You go, girl," and she and Meg responded back with the hearts. So I
hmm
mean,
I listen, it'd be crazy because if TT decides to go after Lotto, I'm like, oh, Lotto about to whoop that
Didn't
ass.
they already had like a little thing, a
They had
head
a
to
back
head
and
thing for a
forth.
little
I
bit?
don't know if they had diss songs at
I
each
know
other, but
it was a Grammys thing,
Nah,
wasn't
Lotto
it?
been. I love her flow, so I would love to hear her do
yeah,
a diss track.
Ooh, a Meg Lotto collaboration?
it's
Question mark.
possible.
I'm surprised we didn't get it yet.
Yeah,
But
it is
shout out to
possible.
Cardi
But
because
yeah, I
Cardi be rapping with all the girlies. I love it.
yes. See, Cardi is an example of she's willing to work with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Like
crazy
she,
because Cardi's not at the top, and she's still doing it.
hmm it's
Now it just leaves the point of like, what is your excuse, Nikki? Like, there is no excuse.
there is
Step your
none.
game up.
There is no excuse.
Get your phones
It's
up. Get your guns up.
right. I'm just so disappointed because I was really hoping for a good diss track, and we really did not get that. At least not from TT. I was expecting like some heavy hitters, but apparently it was like, oh, it's a troll song, or it wasn't serious, it's just a jab. I'm like, since when do we take jabs and troll songs in beef or in
Nope.
diss tracks? Since when was that acceptable? Like,
If
I
anything, she hurt herself more than she helped herself.
exactly. It's crazy because I do know that there are songs that are used as bait, i.e., see Pusha T's Infrared, which caused Drake to respond with Duppy Freestyle, and then Pusha T dropped the story of Adidon because
Mm.
Infrared was bait. I understand bait songs, but these little whatever that was from TT was absolutely 100% pure unadulterated garbage. That's just me. That's my opinion on it. It was trash. We heard the lyrics before. A couple lines were clever. Everything else was like really. And then when it comes to beef, you gotta stop putting personalities in the TT. And I know she'll never hear this, but you need to come at her like you are, like your full name, like Onika Tanya Mirage Petty, and you need to just go in the bar in the booth and just spit. Stop adding these personalities to it, because the way that you did that song is giving, as y'all said, it is giving multiple personalities. It's giving Coke. It's like you come on, like you literally can just be yourself and just go bar for bar and be like, yo, I'm about to drop like this heat and I'm about to start swinging. If you really bout it, but who knows?
Mm.
I'm gonna quit talking about it. I just want to get back to like toxic fandoms, because yeah, the garbage are absolutely ridiculous, and the Swifties, as well as everybody's attention to Taylor Swift, especially with this whole the Super Bowl thing, is really just it's really irked my nerves because and how do I start this? I have no problems with Taylor Swift. I'm not a fan of her music. It's not for me, but I have no problems with Taylor Swift. Let me throw that out there. I don't pay attention to Swifty Twitter, so I have no idea how they are as a fan base. I know some of them are a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but I have no real experience with them, at least not see them do shit that the Barbz have done. And yet, this whole thing with the Super Bowl, I just wanted to say that when it comes to Chiefs and watching Chiefs football, it's okay to show Taylor like every now and again, but it seemed like every time Travis Kelce touched the ball, turn the cameras to Taylor, turn the cameras to Taylor. and immediately would try to find Taylor Swift. Like every time he scored a touchdown, every time he caught a pass, it was like find Taylor Swift. There she go. Cameras up. Cut. I'm like, it's so annoying. And then of course,
It's
the one
marketing.
time that Swag Surfing
No
plays at the
bullshit.
Chiefs Stadium and everybody is doing it terribly, and we see Taylor Swift doing Swag Surf, I'm like, oh, here we go. And
Shout
then
out to our HBCU.
yes, HBCU has been
Because
doing
we're
this
the
shit
ones who
for
put
the
it on the
longest.
map. Okay.
Exactly, and still got it on the map. It's
Because if it
just
wasn't for HBCU homecoming or activity hour, swag surfing would not be what it is. And I just need that to be
Hello.
known. Because now folks is like, what's that new song that's coming out that everybody's doing? The new dance crave. I'll be damned. HBCUs did that. It's on us. Thank you. And that's my TED Talk.
yeah, we've been doing this since 2009, folks. Maybe even sooner, like 2008, or was it 2009 that song came out? Hang on, see, and that got me looking. But big shout out, of course, to Fast Life Youngsters who created the song, obviously. But it's just so crazy. 2009, okay. It's just so crazy now that white people are catching on, and I saw a video of the Chiefs fans, I guess, attempting to do it after they became the AFC champions, and I'm just like, oh my god, why did I get subjected to this? This is worse than cultural appropriation. This is at this point, it is. I'm trying to think of a good word to describe what that was because it was atrocious.
Them some rhythm classes.
Please. Okay, so I just want to say that, yeah, no. Please, I don't want to say that we need to gatekeep this, but some things do need to be gatekeeped. And swag surfing is probably one of them. Because, yeah, I refuse to go to. There are some white people that I've seen, who know about the song and can swag surf for real. It's not a hard dance. It's really not. How hard is it to really just like go left to right with some damn swag in it?
Go a little bit past shoulder width.
Exactly.
Bend at the knees. Stick your arms out and surf. Like
it's really
Ride
not
away.
that hard. But then I saw some white folk doing like it's hey ho, like this is hip hop parade. Like I'm just like, wow. I've never been so disgusted. And it's crazy, yo. Please, y'all, find some rhythm. Please find some swag. Please find
and since
something.
we're on the topic of that, also we need to keep talking because they do the most.
Nah, there's one. I don't know if it was Ohio State that did it. I was like, hold on now, y'all might just got that to perform once, not to do it all the time, but they had that.
Because I mean, LSU, they've turned it into a whole thing, and yeah, y'all get a chance. Just look up LSU playing talking.
Yeah. When it comes to neck or talking out the side of your neck or talking, there are some schools that I'm like, with HBCUs, of course, that's gonna be a staple, 100%. But when it comes to some of these like white schools or these PWIs or even these Power 5 schools, yeah. Now LSU, I think didn't they get banned from playing it because the fans would be like, "That's that Tiger, bitch." I'm like, what? Where did that come from?
That part,
but
wow,
it's very raunchy.
They were literally like, hey, suck that Tiger dick, bitch. Pause. It's just, I'm like, yo, that is wild.
Now
like,
wait, let's be honest. Because don't we got a couple of songs in our repertoire that we said some outlandish shit?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I was gonna say I'll play you the fifth.
Yeah, they are out there, especially with HBCUs. Like,
all right,
out there. But
now I was gonna say
exactly.
in terms of like the cheers and stuff, like yeah.
Okay.
I'll never forget we got in trouble for throw that ass.
Oh man. Like yeah, because you know the cheerleaders at Hampton, shout out to Blue Thunder, they have a cheer that they do with the drum line and with the tuba section or the sousaphone section called Shake It. And shake, you know, they say shake
And what y'all
it.
say?
Shake
But
these
D
nuts.
pause. But yes, yes,
Exactly.
we are vulgar. I'm not saying that. It's just for that particular song. I'm like, yo, the song is already a shit talking song, but y'all just went crazy with it. But I mean, that's just my point of view. But you would never expect like a Power Five school with majority palm colored folk saying something like that. That was truly surprising.
AK, that
Now,
was a good catch.
yeah. Hey, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that LSU can't play it or like Ohio State can't play it. But there are some other bands that will attempt to play neck and it don't sound the same, and it just doesn't bring that same energy. University of South Carolina being one of them, and I hate to go against my Gamecocks, but like every time I hear them play it, I'm just kind of like, okay, okay, like what's next? But if I hear somebody like I'm just gonna throw our rivals out there. If say that Norfolk State and South Carolina were playing each other, and Norfolk State started playing neck, obviously I'm like, okay, Norfolk State got it because their version of neck would just about beat anybody's except for ours, in my opinion. For those who don't know,
Okay.
we go to Hampton University, or we went to Hampton University, graduated. It's just, you know, that's just my opinion on that. But in terms of gatekeeping, there are certain things within the culture that just need to be gatekept, and not everybody needs access to parts of our culture and parts of things that we do. And swag surfing is like one of those things where I just wish it wasn't appropriated the way that it was, because now everybody's talking about it and talking about, oh, what is this new dance that Taylor Swift and all the chief fans are doing? What's this viral dance? I'm like, this dance has been around for 15 years now. What are we talking
Facts.
about? And it's kind of crazy saying that. I was like, yo, this song is 15 years old. But okay, I guess. Now, I did see a video that the Fast Life Youngster said that they wouldn't mind if Taylor Swift remixed the song. I'm like, well, yeah, of course they wouldn't mind. That would mean royalty checks for them. Hello. That's money.
Good point.
We heard her cover of September by Earth, Wind and Fire. So I don't think we would like for her to do that.
Yeah,
I think we have made a general consensus and we have decided that we will not like for her to make a cover of that song. Thank you.
please.
Yeah.
Thank
I, I,
you.
I yes, I'm cool with that. But in any case, guys, we're not gonna be here long. I wanted to try and keep this at about an hour because a lot of us got things to do. Some of us got to cook, some of us got to eat, some of us got to work. But I just wanted to know what your opinion is of the whole situation between TT and Megan the Stallion. How do you feel about toxic fan bases? Do you think that people are just doing the most at this point when it comes to their favorite artists? How do you respond when it comes to your favorite artists? Because in my opinion, it's okay to be a good fan. It is not okay to be a stan. It's not okay to stalk your favorites. It's not okay to eh, do questionable things or suggest questionable things in the name of that said fandom. It's definitely not okay for the artist to promote those questionable things and encourage those questionable things. Again, looking at you, Onika.
TT.
No, I had to call her out on the government on that one. Like that one, I'm gonna be upset father at this one. Like, yo, no, you need to go to timeout for that shit. Sit over here, sitting here, encouraging fans to dox people and to dox going to somebody's gravesite and vandalizing it. Man, fuck all that shit. Excuse my language, but I'm just gonna say it like this: when it comes to toxic fan bases, there is a line that you should not cross. And if anybody wants to try and dox me, trust me, I have no problem sending you to God's P.O. box. We can go there. We can go there. Or Satan's P.O. box if you're not right with the Lord. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So with that in mind, guys, just know that when it comes to fandoms, like again, there's so much music out there for you to enjoy. And it's not just rap. We got so much R&B out there that's hidden. We got so much Afro beats that are out there. We got K-pop and J-pop that's out there. We got shoot, we can even go back old school. Let's talk about Cheryl Lynn. How Encore is viral on TikTok.
First of all, whoever gave her access to Twitter, Auntie Cheryl, Auntie
Yes.
Cheryl has been on Twitter commenting on everybody's tweets, and I
Yes.
love that for her.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
She up there with Dion.
Shout out to Auntie Cheryl Lynn. We appreciate you, man. We really do. You've made
Okay,
some
and
great music.
I respect that Encore is finally getting this notarization, like its notoriety again,
Mm-hmm. Again.
because I used to have to fight in parties to have that song played because that was my jam. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
family reunions, I used to be like, hey, play Encore, okay? And people like, no. So now that it's popular again, and I don't even have to ask, and they play it, okay? I get so excited because that's my jam, okay?
Hey, I hear that 100%. Yo, that is actually my favorite Cheryl Lynn song. She's got a catalog, but I love
She
Encore
do.
for more than one reason. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. For those who know. But I've loved Encore even before then because it's like I don't know. I had an experience with it where I was listening to it in college, and somebody had played it during one of those long nights because I needed a boost of energy. And of course, we were just like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna get up and dance. And they played this, and I was just like, oh, and I used to love it as a kid, but now hearing it with 18 and 19-year-old ears, it's just like, yo, this song here a little different. Okay. So yeah, that is one of my favorites. And of course, we all know if you are a if I'm not mistaken, the Deltas use "Got to Be Real" as one of their stroll songs. Is that correct? Okay, yeah, I figured as much.
Mhm.
So, yep, uh that's what I wanted to say. But there's just so much music out there for you to enjoy. Like, don't just limit yourself in a box to rap. I know we talk about it a lot because it's dominant in our culture right now, but there's so much music out there. Go listen to some classical music. Go listen to some jazz. Like I was just
Speaking of
listening to Robert
classical music,
Glasper the other day. Go ahead. Go ahead.
phenomenal, phenomenal. That dude, I've
Oh
probably
yeah.
seen him the most ever in concert. He- I think I've seen him like six times in concert. Y'all, if y'all ever get a chance to see him perform, he always is inviting like somebody, and the show is. If you get to catch him with Bilal, my God,
Mm.
my
Shout out to
God,
Robert Glasper. Yeah.
shout out to him.
I definitely want to catch him like one of these days. I'm going to see him in concert, and I'm going
He's
to
at the
enjoy
Kennedy
myself.
Center all the time in DC.
Oh, say less.
He's there all the time.
Say less. Did you have another point that you wanted to make, Sappy? I didn't mean to like cut you off, or was
Did
that the
I?
point?
Oh yes. Speaking of jazz, I had the opportunity. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but Audra McDonald. She's like a huge Broadway artist. I got an opportunity to see her on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that lady got vocals for days. She's
Mm.
better than your
Okay.
favorite artist. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey, say less.
Like Jesus.
Say less. I am. I definitely want to open my catalog up more to more jazz because I mean I took jazz in high school and it's like I got away from that, so now I'm getting back to that. And I just realized that, jazz is really, really relaxing. And it really puts you in like a mood, whether you cleaning or whether you just vibing. Like jazz is really, really good music, man. And it's black music. No matter who is playing, whether it be a white person playing it or they could be from another country, it don't matter. Jazz started with black people, just like most music started with black people, most modern music anyway. But yeah, he said all. She said all. She ain't lying. She ain't lying. But yes, I personally want to get back into some more jazz, and so
There's
I'm
just so
definitely
many
going to be
genres of
doing that.
jazz.
Yes, I mean we
So it's
can.
it's for everybody.
Yeah, big band, jazz fusion, modern, uh, swing. If you're into
Smooth
that,
jazz.
smooth. Mm-hmm. It's a lot. It is a lot. But anyway, guys, I think we've kept you too long. Again, I posed the question to you: who are some of your favorite artists? Do they have a toxic fan base? Do you think that that toxic fan base kind of deters you from enjoying the artist completely, or are you a part of said toxic fan base and you just don't give a fuck? Like some of y'all garbs out there. Uh, and in my opinion, and I think it's the opinion of this podcast, that you just need to, when it comes to toxic fan bases and toxic artists, there just needs to be a line that needs to be drawn. And of course, when it comes to that beef, well, the numbers don't. The numbers speak for themselves. That's all I'm gonna say. The numbers speak for themselves. With that in mind, we are gonna go ahead and close out. Do you, Law or Sappy, have any closing arguments before I do this rundown real quick?
No closing arguments. So I do have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
If you haven't already, y'all need to get this book. This shit is good.
Okay.
And that's Sappy Reads for today.
Got it. Now, for those who don't have the video podcast itself, what's the name of the book,
Oh, my
Sappy?
bad. My bad. So the book is Out There Screaming by Jordan Peele. It's not by Jordan Peele, but it's edited by Jordan Peele. It's an anthology series of Black writers who do horror stories. So it's about let me see. It's about 12 or 13 stories. I've only gotten through the first two, but they've been good. So I know they can only get better. So it's called Out There Screaming, and it's edited by Jordan Peele, and it's an anthology of Black horror.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Law, any comments, sir? If you're still there, sir. He might be working. In any case, what we will go ahead and do is do the rundown. And for those who are unfamiliar with the rundown, this is where we list all of the podcasts, content creators, artists, and businesses that have supported this podcast in more than one way or have been a part of this podcast in more than one way. So, with our podcast shout outs, of course, shout out to Shogo High, which is, of course, a podcast that I'm a part of as well. That's the anime podcast that's held every other Friday on X/Twitter Spaces. Shout out to Inside the Mind of a Blurred, which is the other podcast that myself and Jay is on, as well as Steve, because Steve founded the podcast. So definitely shout out to them. They could not be here today. But yeah, shout out to the gang at Inside the Mind of a Blurred. Shout out to Worst Gen Pod and Blaname Pod and Mike Check Waifu Waifu. I am a Patreon subscriber to all three of these anime podcasts, and I just ask that you please be a Patreon subscriber to them as well. Shout out to the Truth and Transparency podcast with Brother X, the cultural scientist, and Mr. Smith. Definitely shout out to Brother X. We just had him on here for our Dreamville episode. Shout out to the session with Jay and Trey. I'm not sure when they're coming back, but still shout out to them. Big shout out to Kay Renee, and please be sure that you check out her novellas under the pen name Sedona Rose. It's So Real with Raquel and Onaji. Dad Needs to Talk with Rob, the father of Ash. Analytical, where shit gets critical. Geek Set Podcast. Anime Junkies, 3 Weeks in a Podcast. Those Anime Girls. And shout out to The Commute. For Black content creators, of course, shout out to Black Anime with Aaron, HBCU Anime with Evan, Sundari with Erica, Cerberus Entertainment, Tatted Poodle, The Geechee Gamer, Icarus Metro Comics with my boy Calvin, Hubtaku, Shelby with Simply Janine, Simply Baked, and Rose Less Traveled, Strange Keith with Idols to Icons, Toasty Marshmallow, Simone with By Simone Malcolm, Courtney with None of My Friends Watch Anime, and of course, Scuba Steve and Alpha with Blurred Mind Productions. For Black artists, of course, shout out to our very own NASA, who is currently taking a mental health break, Scoozy, Jack Union, Phil.me, the boy Ellis Quinn, RJ Stackhouse, our boy Quarter, Tyrone Leak Jr., Miss Ari Lachelle, Zach Hines, Miss Elena, and of course, our girl Zainab. And then for Black business shoutouts, Already Paid by Dre, Fresh Nurse Righteous Minds by Timo, KSS Brand by Christina, Cream Cosmetics by Naima, Mind Over Money by Miss Tremaine, Studio Maho with Pat and Yin, shout out to Concept Moon, She Designs Too with my girl Erin, Black Magic and Lit Wands with my girls Low and T, H4 Creative by Miss Zenobia, Real Estate Stone by Meredith, Sold by Bell by Mariah, Good Vibes Only with Miss Nasa, Scrappy Sentiment with Sappy, and of course to our very first sponsor, W Energy. Now, with that, be sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the Chaotic Culture Podcast on your favorite DSP. Be sure that you subscribe to the Patreon for early access to the podcast and bonus episodes of the podcast and the video version of this podcast. You can subscribe at any of the 4 levels, whether it be $3, $5, $7, or $10. Either way, we still appreciate your support. You can follow us on Facebook at Chaotic Culture Podcast. You can also follow us on IG at Chaotic Culture Pod and follow us on X/Twitter at Chaotic_Culture. You can follow me, Cat the Pro. That's K3D the Pro on all social media. You can follow Law on IG at L.JR_96 and on Twitter at Law96_. You can follow Sappy at Scraps14 on all social media. You can follow Johnny at JLee Trey on all social media. And you can follow Scuba Steve at Scuba Steve1428 on all social media. This has been another edition of the Chaotic Culture Podcast. So until next time, folks, remember, embrace the culture. Chaos rules. Be blessed. Be safe. God is love. And we out.
Peace.
One.
It's the KKP on your mother flipping airways. Hear the name ringing through the halls and the stairways. You were listening to a pod that can segue all the latest topics, guaranteed to fill your headspace. It's a safe place to voice your opinion. Say what you feel, just like you're a kid again. Kid the Pro and friends, black as obsidian. Chaotic culture, that's the world we living in. So what's the word?
You are now tuned in to the Chaotic Culture Podcast.